Well, today, guys, is a long day coming for me because we're finally checking out an amplifier that I've wanted ever since it was released in about 2011 or 2012. Today, we're checking out the Jim Root Signature Dark Terror from Orange Amps. Let's get into it. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of good things coming your way right now. Let's dive right in, talking about the Jim Root Signature Dark Terror. So this signature amplifier came out around 2011, I do believe, and this was a great time to be a huge fan of Jim Root. Slipknot was back doing all their shows in remembrance of Paul Gray, and Stone Sour had just finished up Audio Secrecy and then was just about to release the House of Golden Bones Part 1 and Part 2. So when this amplifier came out, I was really excited, but it's just one of those pieces of gear that just went by the wayside, and it took me a long time to get it, and now I do believe they're out of production, actually. I don't even think they make them anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't see them for sale like on Sweetwater or on Musician's Friend. But now, guys, we have one in the studio. So the specs of this amplifier, you have two EL84s, three 12AX7s, and one 12AT7. And guys, it's really similar to the sound of the Orange Rock Reverb, and I'll get to that in a second. But first, the demo song. For this song, I'm using my Ormsby 7-string and drop A, that is E to E on the first 6 strings, and then drop A on the 7th. I am using my Universal Audio aux box, and nothing in front of the amplifier, just the straight raw tones of this amplifier. So when we come back, I'll give you guys a little playthrough of the amplifier, and after that, then we'll talk about it, alright? So without further ado, guys, here's the demo song. Alright guys, that's the demo song and the playthrough, and now let's talk about this amplifier. So when I said this amp sounds a lot like the Rockaverb, it's really funny because I wanted to do my research and I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about with this amplifier, right? So I went on Orange's own website and I found some really useful and insightful information about this amp. The first piece of information I thought was really unique is that this amplifier and the Jim Root matching cab were the first pieces of signature gear that Orange ever released. So I think it's a nice shot in the arm to Slipknot, Stone Sour, and Jim Root fans. Like, hey, Orange's first signature gear was Jim Root. That's a huge accomplishment, a huge milestone, and Jim Root should be very proud of that. The next piece of information and the most shocking piece of information is, again, remember when I said this sounds like the Mark II Rockaverb? Well, on the Orange's website, in one of the paragraphs, it says, this signature amp is modeled after Jim Root's own Rockaverb Mark II. So as I was doing the demo and as I was playing through, I was like, man, this sounds just like the Orange thing. It's got that dry saturation, but a little bit of creamy richness, kind of like the Mesa Boogie stuff, right? So it's funny how like my ears were kind of like picking up on, hey man, this sounds just like a Rockaverb. What's the difference? What gives? Well, it turns out this amplifier is actually modeled after a Rockaverb. So pretty interesting. I guess the only real negative I could say about this amplifier is there's no built-in reverb and it's only 15 watts, but again, for the price and especially on the used market now, can you really even complain? I don't know. Yes, there are some other amplifiers that do have more features built in. For example, the PV51 or the PV6505, for example, has a lot more built-in features like a USB port, an XLR out, built-in reverb. I get that, but at the same time, this amp, you know, it seems to be built a little bit better quality and parts. The PV6505, and I do believe the Invective as well, is made in China. So take that with a grain of salt. It doesn't necessarily mean anything that, you know, one's going to perform better or worse, but just because this amp doesn't have a ton of features built in, what it does do very well, nails it. It knocks it out of the park. And you guys know I'm going to say a lot of positive things about this amplifier. I really did enjoy it, but the main thing that I love about it is it's affiliated with Slipknot and Jim Root. Now, it's funny, on the back of this amplifier, there's still the Stone Sour logo, because this amp was built when Jim Root was still in that band. But yeah, I'm just such a huge fanboy for Jim Root. I love his approach and his style to gear. I've said this a million times. He uses dad rock brands. For example, he uses Fender and Orange, and it's not like an Ibanez and a PV, or, you know, like a let's think of another one here real quick, like a Schecter and a Randall. You know what I mean? Like, he uses dad rock instruments and dad rock brands, and that is an extreme attraction for me personally, because I do the same. I mean, I play Gibsons, you know, I played Gibsons, and I play a lot of Fenders, and the Fender Strat is the first guitar that ever infatuated me. And so it's really cool that Jim Root takes that approach, reaches out to dad rock brands. I'm not saying that to be negative about them, but, you know, they're not normally known for like metal stuff. They're usually known for classic rock and even some hard rock stuff. But I just love Jim Root's approach to his gear, and I love that this Orange Dark Terror is affiliated with Slipknot, my favorite band of all time, so it has a little bit of sentimental value to me. But all in all, guys, if you can find one cheap on the used market, I see no reason why not to get this thing. It's awesome, it's heavy, it sounds killer, tight low end, I mean, you can't go wrong. So if you guys are in the market, why not get one of these? So what do you guys think of the amplifier? Leave it all down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. All my albums, EPs, social media, everything is down below for you guys that is affiliated with me. If you want to check those out, I really appreciate it. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay metal, and I'll see y'all next time.